Why are Americans fleeing Costa Rica? From extreme weather that floods entire neighborhoods to the very high cost of living, Costa Rica's paradise isn't perfect. And it goes on. Distance from family and friends, poor health care, and increasing crime are causing Americans to feel homesick. Is it the dream destination it's made out to be? Or is there something more to this tropical nation than meets the eye? Watch till the end to discover the truth. Number 10. Severe weather and environmental problems. Costa Rica may be famous for its tropical beauty, but it comes with a price. Severe weather and environmental problems that many Americans struggle to cope with. The country's position between the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea exposes it to hurricanes, tropical storms, and heavy flooding. Costa Rica is ranked 8th worldwide for environmental hazard exposure, with climate change worsening these conditions. The rainy season, May to November, brings heavy rainfall, sometimes more than 25 inches of rain in a single month. This causes landslides, flooding, and damage to infrastructure, making everyday life unpredictable and dangerous. Coastal areas also experience beach erosion, with rising sea levels and more intense storms threatening properties. Costa Rica's location on the Pacific Ring of Fire means volcanic eruptions and earthquakes are always a concern. Number 9. Separation from family and homesickness. Living in Costa Rica is a dream come true, but the distance from loved ones is a huge challenge for most Americans. Video calls and social media can't replace the support and connection they left behind. Retirees miss the joy of being present at important family events, births, graduations, and weddings. Isolation can cause loneliness and feelings of guilt, especially when family members have health issues or crises. The expectation of family visits is usually disappointed by the expense and hassle of international travel, leaving many expatriates isolated. For those with aging parents in the United States, the worry is even greater. Being away during a family health crisis can be emotionally very hard, and for some, the desire to return to the US becomes overwhelming. Ultimately, the isolation and emotional weight of being so far from home lead many Americans to rethink their move and return to their familiar support networks. 8. Unrealistic expectations versus reality. Most Americans move to Costa Rica with visions of paradise, nice beaches, friendly locals, and a relaxed lifestyle. But the dream often becomes a disappointment. The paradise paradox creates letdowns for the majority who pictured an ideal life but encountered a more complex and difficult reality. One of the biggest shocks is the infrastructure. Even though Costa Rica is a popular destination for expats, its infrastructure might feel underdeveloped. Many areas still lack reliable public services like garbage collection, and roads can be bad. Power cuts, internet failures, and slow government services are more common than expected, especially in rural communities. Getting to know locals also proves harder than expected. Although Costa Ricans are warm and welcoming, deep relationships take good Spanish language skills and an understanding of the culture. Many Americans remain isolated, relying on the expat community instead of blending into local society. 7. Tax problems and financial issues. Picture living in a tropical paradise, only to discover that money and taxes are more complicated than you thought. This is the reality for many Americans in Costa Rica. While Costa Rica has a tax system that only taxes income earned in the country, Americans must still file U.S. tax returns and report all their income. This means they must follow 2 tax rules, which can require expensive tax professionals and more stress. Banking is also a problem. Because of the U.S. Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATA, banks in Costa Rica don't want to do business with Americans, adding more rules and making simple money tasks harder. Investment opportunities are limited, with restrictions on foreign mutual funds and other investments because of how the IRS treats passive foreign investment companies. Number 6. Language and cultural adjustment issues. Do you think you'll get by on English alone if you live in Costa Rica? Think again. Spanish is the main language except in tourist areas, and it's hard for most Americans. Even if you're determined to learn Spanish, the reality is it can be far harder than you expect. Statistics show that less than 30% of adult expats become good at Spanish, leaving the rest with some difficulty communicating. In addition to language, cultural differences may add to the stress. Costa Rica's carefree Pura Vida approach to everything, from how business is done to the pace of life, can frustrate Americans who are used to moving quickly and directly. It's even harder socially. Costa Ricans are friendly, but forming close friendships requires good language skills and knowledge of the culture, a challenge many Americans never overcome. Because of this, many expats end up lonely or spending time only with other foreigners, leading to the feeling they're living on the outside. 5. Healthcare system limitations. Costa Rica's healthcare system is typically adequate, but most Americans find it does not meet their standards. The country has universal healthcare in the Costa system, which is required for residents but has its own set of problems, which is very frustrating for expats who are used to faster care. Public hospitals may provide basic care but are typically overcrowded, with little comfort and shared rooms. Those who want a more private experience can use private healthcare, but it is still costly. Doctor visits can cost $50 to $100 per visit. Access to prescription medication can also be difficult, and language barriers are another obstacle, as most healthcare providers only speak Spanish. As health problems become more complex, most Americans return to the US for easier and better access to care. 4. Rising crime and safety issues. Costa Rica, which was once a very safe country in Central America, is currently facing a growing crime issue that prevents many Americans from moving there. In 2023, Costa Rica reached a record for violent crime with more than 900 homicides, a huge increase from past years. Although the homicide rate remains below that of some other nations in Central America, it is considerably higher than the national rate in the United States. Property crime is also a problem for expats. Home burglaries, auto break-ins, and theft are on the rise in expat communities. Many Americans feel vulnerable, often targeted because others believe they are wealthy. So many more expats are installing alarms and living behind security fences. 3. Infrastructure and utility problems. Costa Rica's infrastructure is frustrating to Americans compared to the reliable services they're used to back home. Costa Rica is one of the more developed nations in Central America, but its roads, utilities, and services remain behind in many respects. Perhaps the biggest issue is the condition of the roads. Outside of city limits, many roads are unpaved or have many potholes, slowing you down and making it more dangerous. A 30-minute drive in the United States could take 2 hours in Costa Rica, and in rainy seasons, roads in parts of the country become impassable, cutting off entire communities for days. 2. The bureaucratic nightmare. One of the most surprising things to many American expats in Costa Rica is the bureaucratic red tape that is so difficult to navigate. Something seemingly easy is a confusing maze of paperwork, translation, and multiple trips to government agencies. The residency application process is a significant obstacle, involving paperwork, official stamps, and multiple personal visits, all of which take 18 months to complete. Even after gaining residency, expatriates still face long queues and unclear policies for simple procedures like renewing a driver's license or registering a vehicle. 1. Surprising high cost of living. Most Americans relocate to Costa Rica believing their money will go further, but they have a surprise. Although some things are less expensive than in the United States, it is not the bargain they had hoped for. Housing prices have increased in sought-after areas such as Tamarindo and Nosara. A basic 2-bedroom house can be more than $300,000 to purchase, and rentals typically begin at $1,000 or more. Daily expenses also surprise many. Even basic food items cost more than anticipated. The price of utilities contributes to the issue, as electricity prices are among the highest in Central America. The price of keeping a car also adds up, with high import taxes and gasoline prices, and it's no wonder that so many Americans are reconsidering relocating. For most, the price of living in Costa Rica becomes much higher than anticipated, and they move on. That's it for today. What do you think about these reasons for leaving Costa Rica? Are any of these a big deal, or are you still considering moving? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more helpful videos.